All right, hello, and welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. Playing Ultraviolet Grasslands tonight with a bunch of these people that you see on the screen. If you're unfamiliar with Ultraviolet Grasslands, sorry, Adam, there isn't one for me. Yeah, it's kind of like a D20 light system, but it's psychedelia. It's kind of a Oregon Trail point crawl game where you're just traveling weirdos across this strange landscape. So tonight is going to be a session 0. We're going to be creating characters. We're going to be creating our caravan that they're going to be traveling across the grasslands in, building kind of that out a little bit, doing a little bit of world building, and maybe hopefully doing a little bit of play later on. We're going to be using kind of a mishmash of some of the base UVG rules that are in like the Ultraviolet Grasslands book, but we're also going to be taking some stuff from Luca Reyes, the designer, the creator, from their CCAT system, which is over on Patreon. So we're going to kind of be blending a little bit of that kind of stuff together to create some absolutely just bonkers, strange, idiotic characters that who knows what's going to happen. So it's going to be fun. So let's do some plugs. A couple people here I know are also creators on the internets, and so if they want to plug where they get their stuff from and where they're doing things, Joe, you run a game. I know that on Fridays, right?
I do. Yes, I run a BFRPG game right now called Valoran. Right now we're in the middle of a bunch of shenanigans through working to overthrow a mafia equivalent in my major city, and I think they're planning on like robbing a magic shop next session. So
Great.
That's been fun.
Awesome. All
Playing
right.
a few other games over there too.
Melissa, do you do anything? Do you make anything? Do you do?
I play. You can check us out in Delta Green on Fridays. Just not this Friday. We're going to do a one-shot of something different. We do Worlds Without Number on Saturdays, and Mondays we do this or we do Alien.
Mm-hmm. Yep. This will be alternating for a while until we kind of get interested in something else, or we complete our caravan adventure. So we'll see. Bert, you're next up. Who are you?
I create stuff, I guess. Twitch.tv/Steam Steel Murder. Right now we're on a big old school kick. Some first edition Dungeons and Dragons, some BX Dungeons and Dragons, a bit of second edition Gamma World, all kinds of fun stuff.
Awesome. Bottom row, we've got Chuck.
Oh my gosh. Hi, I'm Chuck. The only thing that I have on the creations on the internet is our OnlyFans, and you can find it at onlyfans.com/Chuck Toes Plus Milk.
All right. Is that a thing?
Don't put it in.
So.
Don't put it in.
No, I shouldn't put it in. Okay. All right.
It's not worth verifying.
Okay. They were talking about like
You lose
cybersecurity
either way.
things. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Jeremy, hi. How's it going?
Hi, I'm disturbed.
Yeah, me too.
I just I get invited to play with you guys, and that's nice. But also, if you like comic books, check out Black Blizzard on Kickstarter. It's hitting to the tail end of things. It's funded. Got a couple more issues in the ready to go, test printing, all that good stuff.
Perfect. And then Dan, how's it going, man?
I mean, I'm here. That's half the battle.
Yeah.
I don't make anything but bad dice rolls and even worse characters. So,
like I was saying to you on Discord earlier, there is a random ability in one of the tables that will Dan proof this adventure, and I really hope you randomly get it. Like the chances of you getting it are really small. It's like 140 to 1 or something like that. But like,
I mean, those are the kind of odds I make all the time, though.
That's fair.
Those are Dan odds.
Just when they're bad.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, let's get going. So we're going to do a few big, broad world building questions to start off. So Ultraviolet Grasslands is very much anti-canon. That's like a concept or a term that comes up in some of the lit. If you read through any of the books or any of the PDFs, things like that. where even though there's like a foundation for like sort of themes and psychedelia and strangeness and weirdness, there's like truths are not necessarily universal. So it's not like we all play in the same Ultraviolet Grasslands. We're all, anyone who runs this game is doing something slightly different. And in the back of one of the books, in the main book, I should drop a link for that too, by the way. There are some random charts, some random tables for the world around that lets us kind of establish some really important things about like the foundational elements of the world. And this kind of stuff could potentially come into play as we explore, as we find ruins, as we find magical or tech science, fantascience stuff. And yeah, we're going to roll some of that. And when I say we, I mean you all are going to do it. And it's going to have something of an effect on what we do. Now, the basic principle of the game is that you're all going to be traveling across the Ultraviolet Grasslands, which is like this strange land to the west. You're going to start in a city called the Violet City, which is sort of the last real city before this massive expanse of strangeness, where like time and space and history are all kind of mishmashed and strange and all sorts of different things. So what we'll do is we'll develop our characters. We'll figure out like who you are, whether or not you represent specific factions that are commonplace in UVG, and then we'll figure out how to stitch you guys all together with a kind of a coherent joint quest. So we're gonna start by doing some of this world building. So I'm gonna share it with the players, show it to everybody. The world around, there is a series of D12 tables that we're gonna roll on for funsies. And so the first one is Forgotten Times. So eras and times lost beyond the records and the great mist, fragments, shells, and hazy memories remain, but even they tend to fade and melt from mind and time like sands in the storms whipping off the golden desert. So a lot of really awesome writing in this, as well as pretty great art. So what I've done, because I am kind of lazy, is I'm gonna like randomly pick players to roll certain things. So the first person who gets to go, if that worked, is Bert. Bert, can you roll a D12 for us to determine what Forgotten Time lore becomes canon for our world?
11. There was no heaven and no hell, only life everlasting in the abhuman paradise.
Perfect.
Nice.
Yes, no heaven and no hell, only life everlasting. So this is basically like, again, histories or forgotten truths that are going to be foundational to our world. All right, next up is going to be Chuck. You're next.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see if I can fix that die thing.
I got a 6.
All right, so you're on Dimly Remembered Strife. That's the next table. So some say there was a war, the war. There is epic disagreement among historians whether there is an actual event that marked the fall of some chosen group. Obviously, there was more than one war, but there can't have been that many, considering the obvious power of many of the old ones. So go ahead and read number 6 from that table, Chuck.
There were no lings or vials. The demiurges imported humans as biological robots to serve them. After the demiurges, I don't know how to say that word.
Demiurge. Yeah.
Demiurge. See, I said it right.
There's no canon. It can be demigurge if you want.
It's
Retconning that text right now.
Well,
after the demi-dudes departed, the humans' programming went haywire and they destroyed the world. Yes.
Okay. So lings is basically like this mysterious sentient subtype from the past, and may or may not have mastered like dream travel. And over the course of time, supposedly like ling blood has filtered down to be like half lings, half hyphen ling, not half ling, which is weird, but also kind of funny. Quarterlings, etc. Might have the blood that's kind of descending down into other humanoid types in the grasslands. Okay, next person Dan, can you also roll on that same one, please?
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, go ahead and roll on the next page, which
Fabled
is
Stories.
Fabled Stories. So it's just a D12.
5.
All right. So Fabled Stories are half remembered times before the Rainbow Order was founded, around the Circle C. The Circle C is sort of in the Rainbow Order is basically like this. Think of it like a semi-united series of states, like the different rainbow states. Like there's green, there's red, purple, or like violet, I should say, yellow, orange, and they're all kind of mixed together in some basic truce organization, civilization, so to speak. So half remembered times before the Rainbow Order was founded around the Circle C, studies of old records are half-heartedly forbidden by the Cogflower Inquisition and avidly pursued by the Redland District and other fringe group. So Cogflower Inquisition is sort of like the Greenland banker church type thing going on. And then the Redland is more like, I think it's more like kind of I think it's described as like bureaucratic collectivism versus bureaucratic individualism, and that's sort of like the way the two of them kind of compete. So 5, Dan, from that table.
And this modernist scavenger polis established dictatorships of liberty, supporting themselves with vast slave networks.
Okay.
Oh no.
All right.
I don't know what that means, but they're words in a sentence.
Yeah.
I was having the same thought with the first half of that. I'm like, people
Yeah.
did things.
A little
Yeah, well,
dense.
basically, it's like dictatorships of liberty, slave networks. That's sort of the big thing that, like, that's in the history is like those bits and pieces we can pull from. Let's see. Next up, who gets to roll one is gonna be Melissa. Same chart, same Fabled Stories chart.
All right, I got 11.
All right.
And 11 is, sorry, I gotta zoom back in again. 11 is the victorious Holy Realms celebrated a decadent century only to collapse before the virulence of the barbarian polities.
Okay. So lots of big things. So the barbarian polities, the Holy Realms, these are things that might pop up in some of our ruin and dungeon explorations and things like that. So when I start like peppering rumors around, or when I start like kind of populating some of the places you explore with like artifacts and items, some of that's going to link back potentially to these stories and these fragments and stuff.
They got too big for their britches and they got overthrown. That's what I read.
And then why don't Jeremy and Joe, you're both going to roll on the oral histories of the revolution. So the fires of forgetfulness, the scouring of the sources, and the flooding of memories has left gaping holes in the histories of the Rainbow Lands. But at least the vaults of the orders of accounting and inquisition in the metropolis retain a semblance of order over the last centuries. So these are oral histories of the revolution. So both of you go ahead and roll D12 so we can get a couple more pieces to add to this.
All right, I got a 6.
All right, Joe, go ahead and read that one.
Okay. The post-imperial expansion saw civility, order, liberty, and humanity return to newly purified lands.
Okay. So we got a post-imperial expansion. So we're getting kind of like a timeline, a loose timeline that's kind of being stitched together with some of this. And then Jeremy, last one.
Rustic neo-elementalist movements saw a great return to the land and dieback of the cities.
Okay. All right. So after the expansion, there's post-imperial expansion saw civility, order, liberty, and humanity return to newly purified lands, and maybe then there was a return back to the cities after something failed with that movement out into the new world. Okay. So we've stitched together some sort of basic generic truce of the land. That's a good place to start. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to do our travel quest. So I know we haven't done characters yet. I think it's important to kind of do the umbrella stuff so that when we're creating our characters, we're doing it through the lens of people who are kind of vaguely on the same page. So in this game, like everyone can have separate ones, but not in our stream. In our stream, everyone's going to have the same damn one because it's going to be easier. So there are there are different reasons for people to come out onto, and kind of go out into the ultraviolet grasslands. And we could come up with our own, or we can pull from this random table. And so there's a variety of options. So this is just like, why does your caravan go out there? Is it because it's there? Is it just to make money? Is it for big game hunting? Is it to explore forgotten ruins? Is it because you're glorious naturalists, like you're a scientists that are kind of looking around and trying to document different flora and fauna? Is it to learn ancient secrets, like archaeologists and anthropologists, etc.? Is it a diplomatic mission? Is it a tribute mission? Is it escort duties as you're bringing various clients to different places across the steppe? Is it raiding? Because you start off as barbarians or something like that? Is it for assassination? Is it to witness the end of time? Is it to save the world? You're convinced that the world is ending, and somehow traveling out there will save it. Is it because you're ascending into the sky like the shamans of old? Now, part of it is just like the story, the starting story of your caravan, but it's also going to dictate how you guys get XP. That's the other thing. So I didn't read through every single entry, but for those of you who have the PDF open in front of you, you can see that like each one of these travel quests has a specific way your group can actually earn XP. So for example, with the escort duties, you get 400 XP for every client that reaches the destination alive. So like it's about keeping them protected. Whereas glorious naturalists, you gain a kind of random number of XP, a couple hundred, for every treasure trove of new knowledge that's brought back to society. Or let's see, diplomatic mission. For every war you start, you get like 1d6 times 1000 XP. So it's not just story, but actually it has a mechanical effect on how you all will collect some XP. So here's what I'm thinking. Let's talk it out. What do we like? What do we not like?
Choices.
So
There are a lot of choices.
We've established before that some of us love science.
Science.
Okay.
Science and math, said no one.
Dentistry,
Did-
orthodonticy.
There's like
Is
a
it
thing-
possible to have more than one motivation for our group, or are we doing like one as a collective?
Possible, but I kind of want to just focus on the one to try to keep, because you guys are going to have your own personal motivations as well when we get into character creation. So this is more like the caravan's goal. So yeah.
Witnessing the end of time just sounds really quirky.
That's the one I was looking at. It's like, ooh.
Like we have to deliver some holiest of relics sort of deal.
From Bad Dragon.
I was thinking
Okay.
that one and the ascending into the sky. Those two kind of look cool.
Yeah.
Of course,
Those
making
are
money
just-
covers everything.
Yeah. I mean, that's just so out there.
Okay. We could always pick like a couple, then just randomly roll from the ones that we like, if we want to do that too.
I like having a giant artifact.
I'm kind of feeling the witness the end of time, because that gives us reason to wander from place to place, because we gotta look for the maps.
Yeah, the pieces.
And we're gonna be there for the real weird stuff, which I also like.
Yeah, I like that, but I also like because it's there, because that's just how I play every like open world Fallout game and things like that. It's like there's something over there. I'm gonna go look at it.
Just because I want.
I'm confused on like the so like escort duties where you're delivering people. Would that mean that you're like entering that area and then leaving and coming back with new people constantly? Or
so basically at the start, what we would do is we would create these clients that you're escorting as part of like our caravan construction. And then we would identify specific destinations for them, probably randomly, and that would kind of dictate where you all travel and have to safely deliver them. This is a point crawl, so like it's like you literally go from one point to another, then there's potential encounters and stuff in between. And some of those encounters could kill people in your party. Your caravan could get raided, and people could die and stuff like that. So to some degree, you're always going to get to explore. Like, this game's all about exploration, so you're always going to explore.
Right.
It's just as more along the lines of like, what's the global, like the overarching theme for your group.
Okay.
Or taking a hot pocket to a microwave.
Nice.
God.
Yeah.
Last hot pocket to the last microwave.
So I've heard witness the
Sacred
end of
journey.
time and ascending into the sky like the shamans of old is like two things that people like. Anybody else want to throw one in there into the ring?
Have anything else?
Okay. So we've got, so for witness the end of time, the party is convinced that the world is ending and must deliver the holiest of relics, a large and bulky artifact from long ago, to the final destination. Each destination has a 20% chance of holding part of the map to the end of time. Once 3 pieces of the map are recovered, we determine the location of the final destination and a key for unlocking it. And this awards 1d6 times 1000 XP on arrival at the final destination. And then the end of time is actually optional. We can choose to end time or not, so which is pretty cool.
Were
It's nice
we
that they give
right?
us that freedom.
Or were we completely wrong?
Oh, nice.
I like that it says the party is convinced, not that the world is ending.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the party is
Adam-
convinced.
Adam, are you linking like, is that like Hidden Valley Ranch? Is that?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Things have escalated in the foot conversation.
I have not been able to keep up with chat this time. Okay.
It's okay.
Well,
The-
we're plotting the plot here, and it's going to be like the Guinness World Records largest hot pocket, and we need to take it to a microwave that's suitable to cook it.
Damn hot pockets. There's probably microwaves in this world.
And it's a
Um,
big one though. It needs to be a really big microwave.
20
largest-
microwaves.
The largest hot pocket.
1D 100 miles long. And then ascending into the sky like the shamans of old. The people's myths tell of the long, long ago when the ancestors walked in the stars. Following visions from the True Mother, a group of noble and ruthless warriors and seers have been chosen to return to the stars and tell the tale of their oppression and bring the ancestors back to Earth. Each destination has a 20% chance of holding part of the key to the sky. Once 3 keys are recovered, a demon of lies appears. Inside the demon's head is a crystal compass that points to the destination of ascendance, and you get XP on arrival at the spaceport. Actual void faring is optional. Void sort of space and stuff.
Yeah.
So
That's
those are
fun,
two.
too.
That one
Those
sounds
are two
really
final
cool too.
ones.
I like either of them. I get the feeling that we're going to be really weak until we get to the end. Though.
Yeah. Well, this is like the big quest, right? Like this is
Yeah, yeah.
this is
Mhm.
the plot, right? But then we're gonna
Right.
have all sorts of side quests and things along the way because you
Okay.
guys are gonna have to fund your caravan. You're gonna have to pay your
What? They're
your
not working for free?
hirelings. No.
Not for
Yeah.
a bite of the big hot pocket.
So there's plenty of other things you're gonna be able to do along the way. So it's not like it's just gonna be point A to point B. There's gonna be all sorts of little bits of discovery and things like that we'll get to do. And plus each of your characters are gonna come up with their own kind of mini motivation that'll be like kind of a potential sub quest for them in a way. Do we want to just 50-50 this?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
I'm fine with that.
Chuck, so you're gonna roll a D100. We'll say 1 to 50. We'll do Shamans of Old, and then 51 to 100 is the end of time.
I got a 3.
Okay, ascending
Shamans
into
of
the
Old, it
sky
is.
like the Shamans of Old. Okay, got it. Oh,
We
dear.
get visions.
The end of
and
Greece.
then we go on our
There
quest.
goes my hot pocket plan.
Okay.
It's the well,
That could always be a personal motivation for you.
or the demon of lies can be a giant hot pocket. There's that.
Yeah.
Or
sorry,
the
Dan.
spaceship at the end could be the hot pocket.
Oh,
It's true.
Mm.
Yeah.
and there
then-
it all
Sure.
comes.
Then
full
how will we
circle.
roll a die to see if you die from hot magma hot pocket? or not?
Don't worry, Dan. There will be a hot pocket somewhere along the way. I
Dan
promise.
loves hot pockets.
I'm just
I-
latching onto it and going with it.
Back when I had taste buds, I liked them too. But then I ate a hot pocket and it destroyed them. So because that's what hot pockets do.
That's how they do.
Hot
got
pocket
that.
giveth and the hot pocket taketh away.
So okay, so sending in the sky like the shamans of old, demon of lies, people's myths. Okay, I like it. So remember that. We'll come back to that in a little bit. So now let's dive into character creation. All right. So I've given you all, you guys all have a character sheet. And then there's also the kind of character gen sample PDF that you can open up as well if you want to take a look at that to follow along. But I'll just walk through kind of the basic gist of a character. It's basically like every other game. Oh my God, I just saw Chuck's picture of his guy. That's crazy. So it's just like everything you've ever played before. So there's CCAT, which are your stats. It's your natural aptitude for things. There's strength, endurance, and agility. They mean what you think they do. Charisma is mostly what you think it means, except it also has kind of like a component of luck to it as well. So think of it like charisma and luck joined together. Aura is kind of like willpower, your ability to sort of withstand, mentally all of the terrors and craziness that you're going to be subjected to. And thought is kind of like intelligence. There's no like score and modifier. It's just the straight up score. That's it. 0 is the minimum, which is kind of like a human average baseline. And the maximum is 5, unless you get a specific ability or a talent that allows you to unlock higher numbers. So when we do, there's a lot of tests that rely on charisma. Especially as it relates to like misfortune, just whether you have like good fortune or misfortune along the route to like from one point to the other. So charisma is a kind of important thing. Skills are learned things. It's what your character is good at. There's kind of like a proficiency bonus if you look in the upper right hand corner of your character sheet. Depending on what level you are, you have a bonus. We're starting at level 1, so everyone will have a +2 bonus. And so if you have a skill, that just means when you roll something that might rely on that skill, you get that +2 bonus. It's also potentially possible to become an expert in a skill by like taking it twice when you level up. And that means you can get like a double your bonus situation going on. Now there's no like exhaustive list of skills. Skills can be, you can completely create whatever you want if you feel like doing so. There's also there's like samples. There's like a skill list that they have in game that you can. I'll show you guys now. So so you can either we can potentially roll them randomly. You can pick them if you want, or you can kind of come up with your own. My personal favorite is soul juicing, which has become like my favorite phrase. Soul juicing is reading people's intentions, possessing their bodies. There's also puppet theater, which is pretty great. And then you have kind of pretty common ones like, fishing, for instance, foraging, that kind of stuff. If any of you have designs on being a wizard, a caster of some kind, you're going to want to pick or create a skill that's sort of the basis for your casting. So like necromancy, for instance, or phytomancy, something like that. Otherwise, casting spells is very, very, very dangerous for you. So you want to make sure you have that, because you're basically going to be burning through mutations like crazy if you don't have a skill to base it on.
Awesome.
Because we are starting at level 1, you're all going to be able to start with 4 skills. And once we get into it, you guys will be able to you can roll them randomly if you want, you can pick them if you want, or you can create them if you want. I don't really care. It's up to you. There'll be other things you're going to be doing randomly. Then there are abilities. Abilities are anything kind of like supernatural, anything magical, anything that's like fantasy science type thing going on. So it's anything that's outside like human norm, if you want to think about it in those terms. So it could be a mutation, for instance. It could be a spell, etc. I have created a fairly large randomized list of both beneficial mutations and potential abilities that come from the UVG book, but also come from the CCAT system. So if you want to roll them randomly, we can just roll randomly. You'll get 1 at level 1. If you'd rather come up with something on your own, you're welcome to do that as well. And if you also, another option you have, if there's like a spell from an existing game, like, if we were looking at 5th edition, for instance, and you're like, I really want Magic Missile, then you can just say Magic Missile and we can make it work. So there's there's rules for sort of sort of converting spells from other games into this game. So you're welcome to do that. Whatever floats your boat, whatever you like and think about your character once the random bits are thrown at you and you try to make sense of it. There are a couple little quirky things that are a little different from this game than some others. And one of those is that basically everything's in inventory. So like abilities, spells, like they take up inventory slots. So you can see on your character sheet, you see these inventory slots, like your different sacks of gear and stuff like that. So when you always have to find a slot for stuff. So if it's not in your skills, if it's not in your abilities, if it's not in your inventory, like you don't actually have it. So there's ways to sort of carve out little extra spots. Like even if you don't have a bunch of abilities, you might be able to have like something in your inventory that provides a particular ability. There's a lot of flexibility there, but as long as you have the space. Couple other things here. You've got a fatigue track. So anytime you get reduced to 0 HP, this is something we should sort of discuss. We can kind of figure out how ruthless we want the game to be, how bloody. There's kind of a cool system for like kind of like a fate system where when you get reduced to 0 HP, you can roll randomly to see what happens. And so it could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. You could end up getting retired, stuff like that. But every time you go down to 0 HP, you like tick a new thing on the track, and eventually you're gone. Like so it kind of gives you extra lives if you want to think about it in those terms. But you're grumpy, or etc. And then you also have the option to create a pet, and a pet will leech XP off you. If you want your pet to get stronger, they advance at the same like rate as you do when it comes to XP. So if you want a pet, hamster on stilts, if you want like a conscious motorbike that you want to have with you at all times, if you want a middle manager who does your taxes, whatever it is you decide you want to come up with, you can put that in the pet when the time comes, and you can kind of split XP with them. Like some of it you take, some of it you give to them, and then eventually they get stronger, possibly. If that makes sense.
Nice.
So that's kind of a
upper management.
Yeah, they're no longer middle management. They're running the caravan. And yeah, we can always like think about ways later on if your character dies, like taking over and like your pet becomes your character, stuff like that. There's lots of fun little things that we could do. All right. So that's just sort of the basic rundown of the character sheet. So what I think we should do, if there's no questions, we should... What's up? You're ready?
I'm ready to make mistakes.
Me too.
Okay.
I've already picked 4 skills. I'm excited.
I haven't. I'm going to roll them.
Before we do skills, we are going to establish 4 pieces of information about like that. It's going to give you the baseline of your character. This is rolled randomly. This is combining some elements from UVG. At the very beginning of UVG, there's these 3 questions that you ask of your character. And then there's like a whole list of stuff that you roll randomly on. It's like, who are you? Why are you on the road? And what's like a weird item you started with? And then CCAT does this really cool thing with stat generation. And I decided to incorporate it here, where one of the things you can do is there's like there's different arrays of stats. So it tells you like you get like 5 points in charisma and then like 2 points in another stat. And it gives you like a basic descriptor of like what other people think of your character, like you're charismatic, or like you're raunchy, or like you're brave, or whatever. And then it gives you sort of a basic array for your stats. So we're all going to do that one at a time, if that makes sense, if that's cool with everybody.
Yes.
Tables.
If you go look, I guess I can't show you guys the Hero Maker. If you go look into the roll table section, upper right of Foundry, and go into the character creation folder, there is a Hero Maker table. Go ahead and open that up, and we can like one at a time kind of go through that, because that's what you're going to roll on, and that will give you the answer to those 4 questions.
I'm not sure I see that one. Under roll tables, I just have story tables.
Um,
Are you in the rollable
it's,
tables tab, or are
it's
you
the one in between,
companion?
like the book. Yeah, it's the one to the left of the
The
audio.
musical note? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
There
under
we go.
character
Okay.
creation folder,
That's
there's a
the wrong
hero maker.
There we go.
Okay. So then
I'm still in the right spot.
let's do this one at a time. And first up, Jeremy, you're up.
Okay. Well,
Hit that
let's-
little button.
What do we get here?
You're fetching.
Read it out loud. Let's see. It.
You are a secret Azure cultist. You're on the road because nightly dreams of a lost world. You have in your possession platinum necrogoggles that reveal undead. And you might be described as fetching. Charisma 2, 2 stats at 2, and another 1.
Okay. So so go ahead and punch those stats into your character sheet.
Okay.
Keep those notes for yourself. Nightly dreams of a lost world. That kind of fits. In a way.
Yeah,
It
no, that's
does.
great.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
perfect.
Yeah.
I like that you're fetching. That's adorable.
That's
I mean,
life imitates art.
It's
Or
pretty
art
much.
imitates life.
He's really just playing himself now.
it's
Yeah.
true.
Yep.
This is
Just
really
regular
what's
old
going on.
Jeremy again.
Even the
Mhm.
goggles.
Yes.
Okay. Next up, Bert, you're next.
Okay, roll.
Okay. Go ahead and read it.
You are a Safranian merchant adventurer. You are on the road because blood memories of a great patrimony you have in your possession. Animate furry chitten kite. A furry chitten kite? How does that? Okay.
Furry kite and kite.
Yeah, I think it's a kite and kite. Yeah, it's like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you have
yeah.
a furry exoskeleton kite. Okay, right.
Weird.
You might be described as winged, agility 5, 1 stat 2. Okay.
So that will be you'll put 5 in agility, and then you can pick any other stat to be at 2. Most stats you'll be at 0, so it's pretty commonplace. It's like the equivalent of a 10 in 5th edition, basically. Okay. What did you have? You had the animate furry kite and kite. I like how you have a kite.
And it's animate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Such
How
a
it's
it's great.
furry and kiteness at the same time. It's
Mm-hmm.
Huggy.
science.
I wonder what it was
Hmm.
before it became. I'll have to figure that out at some point.
Chuck's
Okay.
beard.
Yeah.
Next up is Dan.
Oh my goodness. You are a desiccated slaver spy. You're on the road. Somehow I always get these like worn out people.
Yeah. Oh god.
You're on the road because tracking a vile intruder from the void kind of fits our story a bit.
Yeah,
Having
sort
your
of like
possession-
space,
A gray cube that weighs 5 times more than lead. And you might be described as doty. Strength 3, 1 stat 3, another 1.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Doty. That's hilarious. I like the tracking of vile intruder from the void. That fits really well. Void's sort of like space, kind of glittering stars type
Yeah.
stuff. That's great. It's great. The cool thing is like there is like a basically like there's like a purple haze that sits over top of the ultraviolet grasslands, which makes like flying not a good thing, and it makes it hard to see sometimes at night, the sky. But there are these things called the fast stars, which are basically like the remnants or residue of like old space stations and starships and stuff that are kind of orbiting around the planet effectively. So
there's like stuff going on out there, but
yeah, it's not really like the prime, like it's not. Yeah, there's stuff. We don't really know. Like I guess as players, you guys wouldn't really know what's happening out in the void surrounding the planet, so to speak. But yeah, there are things called like fast stars. So we do have like these fast moving, remnants and residue of what's up there. Okay, so next up, Melissa.
All right. So I am a violet revolutionary emigre. I am on the road because of paintings of a gorgeous cyan seaside. I have in my possession a citrine soulstone with a third of a hero's soul, and I might be described as sly. Agility 4, 1 stat 2, another 1.
So when you see colors like violet, that just sort of tells you generally what land. So violet revolutionary is like you're kind of the violet lands. Bert, I think you had Safranian. If I recall, they're like yellow landers. They're like a specific kind of like a merchant guild from the yellow lands, which are kind of like a deserty type area. Again, they're all sort of joined underneath like the rainbow lands. The only color that's not really part of that are the blue landers, because those are basically like degenerates that no one really likes. They're just sort of like residue of ghosts and things like that. Okay. Painting of a gorgeous cyan seaside, citrine soulstone with a third of a hero. So okay, I have no idea what those will do, but what that'll do. But hopefully we'll figure something out at some point.
So is it saying like she saw a painting and wanted to go find that seaside?
That's what I'm assuming. That's why I'm on
Yeah.
the road, is because I'm trying to find like the seaside that was painted in that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you got a vision. I mean, we're talking about visions, right? Like you're getting visions to go ascend, and so it may be that vision has something to do with the shamans and things like
Ooh,
that.
like I do those paintings, but I don't know what I'm painting.
Oh, like you do. You get
Like
into
I see a
fugue state
vision,
and you paint.
and then I do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of like your heart character a little bit.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Like the
Yeah.
the
I
face.
assume I'm just here to bash someone with the gray cube. So I mean,
Well,
Like, that's one
you're-
whole sack. Is just
Yeah.
like you have that cube.
It doesn't
You're-
say how big the cube is.
No,
either.
it doesn't. Gray cube. I think these things are fairly small. If I recall correctly, these are like so. Like there's the system of size is like soap, stone, and sack. So, like something that's relatively the size of a piece of soap, then there's something that's relatively the size of a stone, and then there's a certain amount of those that can go into your sack, and that's like the abstracted version of
okay.
inventory of size. So I think these are all like soap sizes, or small enough or not so heavy that they're going to weigh you down too much. Okay.
So-
Next up, we've got Joe.
All right.
Chuck for last. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Okay. Safranian merchant adventurer. I'm on the road because of visions of glory and rebirth, which that fits, seems like. And I have in my possession a glass tub of vampire grade sunscreen.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Vampire grade
And-
sunscreen.
Yeah.
I need that. In real
And I
life.
am an Olympian. 5
Wow.
strength,
Wow.
1 stat at 2, and 1
Wow.
at 1.
So there are so there's I think there's D100 arrays. I think there's like 100 different arrays, or it could be 40 different arrays if I think
Mhm.
about it. I can't remember exactly, but yours is there's 100 of them. So Olympian is a 91, and the higher is the better. So you got one of the best stat arrays possible.
Sweet.
Hey Dan, what did you
I'll be sure to use it.
what was it?
Were you
Howdy.
Sly?
Dottie or Doty?
Yeah, I was Sly and he was Doty.
Sly is like 60 something, so it's solid. It's in the upper echelon. I'm looking for Doty. 31. Yeah, you're bottom third. You're bottom third.
As it should be.
What did you have? What did you have, Jeremy and Bert? Out of curiosity.
Etching.
I have winged,
Winged.
agility 5, 1 stat 2.
Okay. Winged and fed. Yeah, winged is pretty high up. Winged is like upper 25%.
So if you have 1 stat at the given and 1 stat at 2, what's the rest of the stats?
Zero.
Zero.
Just a,
0.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 0 is basically like average. Like you're average at it. Like you're. All right. And then, the other thing is I think we have 2 Safranian merchant adventurers. I think both Joe and Bert are from the same area. So you're
Yeah,
both Safranian merchant adventurers. Yeah. So
We're selling the
maybe-
same items and we're vindictive enemies.
or you could be together.
Yeah, it could be business
I
partners.
like how
wow.
Bert immediately goes
Yeah.
to her. It's like, no, screw it. PvP. I love it.
I like that you have like ridiculous
My bad dragons
agility,
come in
and then I
better
have
colors than yours.
ridiculous- Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We sell
Yeah.
Crocs.
Really good agility, really good strength. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up and finally, I think is Chuck.
That's
Let's
me.
do it, man.
Okay.
Wow.
I am an exiled Blue Lander noble. I'm on the road because my grandmother's lost auto wagon.
Dude,
I
where's grandma's
have-
car?
Yeah,
It's like a self-driving car, basically. Yeah.
Dude, where's grandmother's car?
that's it. I have in my possession a small lavender plant that cannot die. And
Amazing.
I might be described as mercurial. Agility's 5, one stats 2, and another one's 1.
That's
I think
even
that's
higher.
probably another.
Yeah, it's even higher than Joe. That's a 90. That's 93 out of 100. That's as
I
high
was
as it goes
hoping.
against. Yeah.
Everything
was-
is as it should be. Dan at the bottom, everyone else at the top.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Rich
Pretty
old
good.
granny lost her car.
So the funny thing is that Blue Landers have a tendency to be perceived because they're not technically part of like the Rainbow Lands per se, like the five city states, I think, as far as I understand it. But they're supposedly like degenerates, right? They're like they're kind of viewed like they're kind of looked down upon, generally speaking, to a certain degree. I'm trying to get the specific details here. but-
I'm a little curious because I don't have a color at all.
It's okay. They don't necessarily automatically do it. So you can. Well, we'll do that in a second. Like
That's fine.
you can kind of pick.
I was like,
something
can I
from
somehow
that.
be worse than the Blue Lander?
Blue lands flooded? Yes, you can probably. Because you could be like a wastelander, you could be like a steplander or something like that. So blue lands are flooded, festering swamp inhabited by degenerates and ghosts. So you're a noble of that area there, Chuck.
I'm top of the bottom of the shit pile.
Okay, so we got our stat arrays. You guys got a couple little bits and pieces about your characters. So then let's talk about factions. So if you look at the journal section on Foundry, there's a factions playable folder that goes through the different like this is the equivalent of like an ancestry or a species or a race from other games. Is kind of that kind of thing. Most people are rainbow landers, so which are just humans. The one thing that humans get is that they can kind of tweak their stats. So if anybody wants to be a rainbow lander and you don't like your stats, you're welcome to just say you're a rainbow lander. Specifically, you would probably identify if it wasn't rolled for you randomly already. Like, are you orange? Are you an orange lander or red lander? You know, that kind of thing. But that's like the kind of the baseline humanoid. But when we say human, think of it more like any sort of like fantasy, any sort of fantasy species. So it doesn't have to just be like humans with like rounded ears and stuff like that. Like it could be any array of like skin color, any array of heights. If you want to do something different, that's fine, as long as you can kind of justify it. But it's the baseline. So Rainbow Landers are the baseline of the game. But then we have a bunch of other factions in the game that you could potentially play as that give you other abilities that, for the life of Melissa and I, we really couldn't figure out exactly where to place these, and so we don't think they go in your character sheet. We think this is just like inherent to your species, but they will have some potentially big consequences. So, for instance, Dan, you were talking about what's lower than a blue lander.
Mm-hmm.
Take a look at the steppe landers. They're uncommon. Certain species, certain factions aren't as common as others, and these basically are people who are out in the waste for some reason, and they're not city-born, and they tend to be they tend to sometimes have more like Lingish blood in them, and they're kind of, if you want to think of like barbaric, like they're more barbarian like in that sort of framework, might be a way to think about it. So but they're also still humans basically. Like they're functionally humans. Some other ones, there's the Cat Lords of the Violet City. Now, I would say we're probably not going to have a full party of these, but we might have one if anybody wants to be one, and if not, we don't need one. Everyone could literally just play Rainbow Lanterns and we're fine. But if you're interested in doing something a little different, you're welcome too. So Cat Lords of the Violet City. This reminds me of that Spectaculars game, Jeremy. Remember when you played the cat?
I do.
So, Cat Lords of the Violet City, the purple goddess, divinity of magic, and most prominent deity of the Violet City, has a fondness for cats. Indeed, cats are the rulers of the Purple Land through their doting human servants. So your character is the cat, but you have control, like a charm person and thrall, over a human who kind of carries you around and does your bidding.
Amazing.
So there's other abilities. There's other things you get. You get other bonuses and penalties. So for instance, like if you guys look at the different sheets, it says Cat Lords as heroes. They have cute little opposable thumbs, sharp claws, and a keen sense of smell that works like a skill. If the game uses classes, don't worry about it. We're using the base system. So bonus is that you get 9 life. Normally everyone gets 5, and so 9 is a little bit higher. Penalties is the cat gains less life as they level up, and they have lower strength, so we'll have to do a slight tweak to your stats to adjust. But there's also feline telepathy. You can communicate with your human pet. Ventriloquism. Cats can make their pet speak like a ventriloquist with their dummy. They get a spell right off the bat called Enthrall Human. So every Violet City cat has the ability to do this. And you get a cat pet. So a secondary character for the cat's player. The cat's pet's goal in life is to feed, groom, and care for their cat. It's basically a sidekick. And you also get a serpent tail because cats in the Violet City have these serpent-headed tails that can bite you. So that's the Cat Lords of the Violet City. I'm just going to go through them all, then you guys can kind of chat it out and figure out what everyone wants to play. There are the Porcelain Princes, which are parahumans. So they're not quite liches who seek immortality by spreading their vital cognitive essence among several bodies linked by real-time glandular psyche-to-psyche links. They are unified by their... basically, they're like a cartel of magical techniques that's centered around the Porcelain Citadel, which is a point of interest within the Grasslands. Their own name for themselves, even if they have one, is not common knowledge. So, yeah. If you're playing a hero as a Porcelain Prince, the defining features of the Porcelain Prince are they wear masks, they obscure their body's original unique identities, and the fact that they are one personality and soul with multiple bodies. So you can see that you get some more stats, you get more bodies, you get more life. So there's all sorts of weird things that you can potentially get. So more bodies. Adding additional bodies requires a body lab, a specialist surgeon psychopomp, a body donor, and 2,000 cash. Plus, each extra body in the polybody is a fragile psyche-to-psyche link. So you're basically your own network of bodies, which is crazy. So that's the Porcelain Princes. Rainbow Landers, like I said, they're basically just humans. Spectrum Satraps also are parahumans. They are a cult or clan living far to the west. The west is where we're going. It's the unknown lands. They are fond of bright-colored suits that cover their whole bodies and glass helmets. They're kind of like walking astronauts in a way. They travel in great prismatic walkers and are fond of illusion and radiant magics. You can see that each one of these factions has like a rumor chart. Like once you pick what you want to play as, we'll roll on those to get some like rumors down. But a Spectrum Satrap, you can get like a special pet that's a symbiote, and that is kind of stored somewhere in you. So, and like you can roll on the chart to kind of get what, if you like, do you have a repair scrab? Do you have like a polyoptic gerbil? Do you have a bioelectric centipede? And that can kind of move around and do different things. You have crystal body. So the Spectrum Palace and its outpost possess great crystals, which can replicate the personalities of stored satraps. This is really interesting, is that you can have a save point, basically. So if you go somewhere, whenever you go to a place that has one of these, you can make a save point for your character. So if you were to die, you can come back and start your character from that save point again, which is like like the strangest thing, but it works. It costs money, obviously, but you can do it. Like I said, the Steplanders are the next one. They're kind of like barbaric humans from the West. Ultras are kind of subcategorized as after humans. Basically, they're ghosts. They're body hopping spirits that rewrite the spiritual vital essence of their hosts to suit their needs. They borrow bodies, usually weak personalities, and they make them their own. They can walk as a spirit. They literally cannot die. Let's see. So let's see who I am now. Players generate new stats when an Ultra puts on a new body personality. So whenever you switch into a new personality, you're basically like redoing your stats. And so you're just kind of moving around. One interesting thing is that you drop memories behind. So when an Ultra leaves behind its old body for a new one, it only retains some of the abilities and skills that you had, and instead you kind of lose that little bit of you as you move to a next one. So if you want to play a ghost or a spirit, that's a good option. And then finally there are Vomes, which are it's funny because on the sheet it's like Vomes should never be heroes. They're supposed to be villains. Just joking. You can play them as heroes. Vomes are basically they're like the robots, the golems of the world in a way. They're self-replicating synthetic organisms or auto golems, and many of them are hive-minded. They do not seem to have any overarching organization, and most seem incapable of communication. Yeah, so you start at level 0 as opposed to level 1, and then you kind of learn as you go. You get powered up by the sun, or powered up from nothing. Like you can kind of upgrade yourself as you go, which is sort of an interesting way to go about doing it too. So those are the different factions. I've been talking for a while, so is there anything that jumps out to anybody?
Ultras look cool.
Yeah, I was thinking as a Blue Lander, Ultra might fit.
It's populated by ghosts. Blue Land is that's the rumor. Yeah.
Trying to decide what seems fitting for a desiccated slavery spy still.
So I suppose I'm curious, what is an Azure cultist?
So it's basically like a location. So like Azure is just a specific location within the world is all it is. You can see that if you switch over to the big map, there's like the ruins of Azure, and that's like a specific location. So that's all it's referencing.
So Safranian would be just a rainbow lander. So the yellow lands.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But you're welcome to pick something else. Like you're welcome, like you can, because even Rainbow Lander is like kind of a human, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the Violet City, where a lot like there's plenty of cats that are there. There's going to be satraps. There's going to be ultras. They're going to be there. So if there's something that's really filling out your character concept that you like, don't worry. Don't get caught up in that. You could still potentially be a porcelain prince that's been roaming about in the Yellow Lands or something like that.
For some reason I'm kind of leaning towards the satrap myself.
I love the cat lords.
I figured you would.
Yeah.
In a old Spectaculars game that Jeremy and I played in, his superhero was a cat, and he had a human.
It was like a paranormal detective that was assumed to be the hero.
And you helped my grandmother out.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was delightful.
That was
What do you think, Joe? Our characters probably came from the same place.
Yeah. I was thinking probably just a Rainbow Lander.
That's what I was thinking too. Pretty vanilla.
Yeah. So none of the other ones really make too much sense for that. There's a lot you can do as a human.
I'm kind of imagining that maybe my character's a spy, but maybe he's not great at it, so he dies and just goes back to his checkpoint.
Oh, very nice. I like that.
If I'm a Violet Revolutionary Emigre, would it make sense for me to be a satraps?
be whatever you want. So the like violet just basically corresponds, like if it's a specific color, it's just kind of like where you likely have been around, like inhabiting recently. So in the case of like Bert and Joe, it was the Yellow Lands because of the Safranian merchant reference. But for you, it would be more the Violet Lands, Violet City.
Which I think, if I was looking at kind of the player's guide of Violet City, that like satraps were in the city, like in. So
yeah. I mean, anything works. Like we can justify anything. So it's our world. We can do what we want.
I agree, Dan. I think that I've been doing. I don't know if everyone can see my rolls, but I've been doing a bunch of private rolls, and I rolled
spamming
on
our stream
that one, and I ended up with a little monkey thief pet, a many-fingered monkey lizard that likes to steal things, which seemed to work with me being sly.
I see that. Got some sly pets.
And the rumor, I had rolled the rumor of the storing personality backups in crystals.
Okay.
Nice.
All right, so let's see if I got this right. Chuck, you're Ultra?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Ultra.
Jeremy, you're going Cat?
Yes.
Joe and Bert, Rainbow Landers?
Yep.
And then Melissa and Dan, we're going Spectrum Satraps. Is that right?
I think so.
Okay, if you guys haven't already done so, just roll on that truths thing for your specific faction so we can populate some of those truths.
Did you get mine?
Just tell me what number it was so I can reference it later.
It was number 6, the personality backup.
Okay.
Do we both get to benefit from that, or do I have a different one?
Which,
yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm treating it like we have more people, so we know more about it, basically.
Right.
Each faction handout sheet, Bert, has like its own like rumor chart. Yeah.
That one.
Oh no, we have no souls, Melissa.
Well, that's the rumor about us,
Oh no.
is that we are soulless.
I got number 7 for satraps.
Okay. Number 7. There's it in.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
For Ultra, I got 4.
All right. So.
Wow. And I just went ahead and rolled for that endo symbionts.
Oh, what'd you get?
Laser-eyed land squid with ballistic weapon targeting and target panning.
That's wonderful.
Insane. Okay, so for yours, Chuck, so truths beyond truths, ultras were once human.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. What'd you get for cats, Jeremy?
Number 4, hidden horned rat masters secretly dominate the cats.
Okay. Hidden horn rat masters. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Skaven
Master
Wizard
Splitter.
behind the wizard.
Scandalous.
No.
All right. It's wonderful.
Yeah, this is great. I'm really excited for this.
Okay, this is shaping up into something. Let's see. Rainbow Landers. What did you get, Joe and Bert?
I got 9 Greenlanders are the most industrious and devout of humans.
Okay.
And I got 12. The Orange Landers are all halflings, and which is where they get their ravenous appetites and casual hyperactivity.
Casual hyperactivity. Okay. And then Satraps was like the notion. Okay, got this. All right, so that's faction. Whew. So yeah, go ahead.
I guess I have a question about. So is this just more lore that's not necessarily associated with our character that we rolled on this D12?
Yeah, it's like it's what's said about it's like what's the common truths of our world, basically. It's like we're establishing our canon as we go. Is kind of as the way I'm viewing it. It's like, so these things are truths. Whether or not everyone knows them, who knows? But I'm establishing them like in my frame of reference is like these are true concepts that people talk about all the time.
Okay.
Or
So
at least
Dan and I are soulless.
Yeah. Chuck was once human.
My
Not
my
anymore.
second Endo's symbiote is a venomous rabbit snake.
Dear God.
What are you gonna go with? A rabbit snake or a land squid?
That's a land squid for sure.
That's what I thought.
Okay. So then let's do skills. So next thing is, again, there's a skill list. So if you just want to pick, you're welcome to do that. Or if you want to create your own, you're welcome to do that as well. Unless no one picked Vohm, so all of you are level 1, so you all get 4 skills. If you want to eventually like get into spell casting, you're going to want to make sure you pick something or create something that's going to sort of drive that. Like if you're like, I want to be a fire mage, then just make up pyromancy, you know.
Can you base magic on any stat?
It's mostly thought, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
The other thing, by the way, Joe and Bert, if you guys want to tweak your stats, you're welcome to move them around. As Rainbow Landers, you're free to sort of do what you want with your stats. If you want to rearrange, you don't like how your array landed out, you have the same total, just kind of move them around however you would like.
But we still, okay, wait, time out.
Yeah.
Does that mean we still have to keep like for my case, the 5 and the 2, or can I break that 5 up into like a 3 and a 2 and a 2?
You can break it up. That's what I mean. Like you have 7 points. You can that's how I'm viewing the Rainbow Lander benefit, is being able to have customization.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
I definitely want to throw. I want to be a spellcaster.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
So
All
awesome.
casters.
So thought is mostly spell stuff.
Yeah. So let me pull up some.
I still haven't really picked what my other places I want to put my stats are yet, since I had the 3 in one and 1 in another.
I'm gonna do food magic. It's gonna be soul food.
Okay.
There you go.
I like it.
So I've got soul food, big game hunter, foraging, and hallucination.
I kind of want to just roll randomly for my skills because that's fun.
Go for it.
We get
you're welcome
4
to.
skills.
Yeah, everyone, because we're starting at level 1, everyone gets 4. Like there's rules if you wanted to start with a funnel, for instance.
What's the where's the skill? Oh, the random skills. There you go.
Yeah. There should be a random skill table.
I want to roll 4 and then swap out ones for custom.
So for those of you that are wanting to do magical stuff, I got a little thing in here as well. Let me pull that up. Like there's a couple pages that you might want to look at. So for those who are wanting to cast spells, who was that again? That was Jeremy, Chuck. Who else? Who else wanted to be
I was wanting to as well.
Joe and Melissa.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it kind of comes with the spectrum that you can do like light magic.
So yeah, I just shared with you the Magitech and Fantascience handout. It's sort of like the overview of how spells work. So spells have a price that has to be paid that comes from life, like your hit points effectively / your stats. So like you can spend your actual health and some of your stats to cast spells. That stuff can regenerate and stuff. Don't worry about that. But like casting spells is always supposed to be dangerous. And so the price is always a combination of the magic cost and the spell's power. Most of the time, magic cost is just 2, but eventually, if you go down this wizardry path, you can become a wizard and you can reduce the cost down to basically 1. And so then it's just the level of the spell power. If you want to think about it in terms of spell power, like think of it like in 5th edition, how, it's level 1 spell, level 2 spell, level 3 spell, that kind of thing. So if you have like a magic cost of 2 and you're trying to do a spell that has like, that would be the equivalent of like a level 2 spell in 5th edition, you would have to burn 4 health / stats to be able to cast it. So that's the sort of the walkthrough of how it works. Now, you also have to sometimes roll for like magical corruption. And this is why you want to have a skill to kind of base your casting on, because if you don't, then you're frequently rolling that. I think you roll at a disadvantage, and you start getting like some crazy, awful, like ruin your game mutations type of thing. I also put in the in Foundry a couple of the spells that are kind of in UVG, like sample spells. If you want to take a look at those to give you guys some ideas of what you might want to cast. So that was Jeremy, Chuck, Melissa, and Joe, I think. And then I also, and read this one at your own peril because it's a little bit more complicated. So from CCAT, the cool thing with CCAT is they describe kind of the wizardry world as basically like celebrity wizards that make metal albums. And so that's their like the spells you cast are basically like the songs on your album, which is kind of cool. And so there's some additional ideas for spells if there's something that you have in mind that you want to do, or if you just want to kind of go through and read through them. You don't have to pick tonight. Like, I'm perfectly fine if you guys want to make changes to this kind of stuff before we play again in a couple weeks, like so you could get some time to read through it. But there's the magic folder in the journal will kind of has a couple handouts you guys should probably take a peek at, because it gets a little bit slightly more complicated with spells. All right.
I rolled the most important skill of all.
What'd you get?
Coffee making.
Nice.
Nice.
Very nice. I like it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did completely random and came up with surgery, medicine with an emphasis on cutting stuff.
Okay.
Protocol. So, I know how to do the tea ceremonies and how to serve proper coffee. Legume farming, because I farm beans, I guess. And coffee making.
Everything that works together
Wow.
somehow. It's amazing.
Yes.
It's amazing.
I love it.
So apparently I'm a coffee bean salesman.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
Do
wonderful.
a little surgery on the side.
yeah,
So
completely on the side.
Yeah.
I
Coffee
wonder
with the
if
side of appendectomy.
I am curious that it does, like, in all the magic stuff, it says stat bonus, but I don't see anything that says it has to be thought.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be
could
funny.
be wrong with that. It's totally possible I'm wrong with that.
I thought it would be funny if my like spellcasting stat was my strength, and I kept the champion thing, and they just like expended
You're the
strength
Musclemancer.
through their spells. Yeah, I'm picturing like Armstrong from Full Metal Alchemist, where he's
Nice.
just like flexing his muscles constantly, casting spells.
Yeah, it says anybody can cast spells or try. So it could be reading it aloud from a magic book, or an interpreted dance routine that summons a demon, or dribbly candles, etc. So like you kind of describe it. I'm not seeing specifically thought. I don't know why I had that in my head. It could be somewhere else that I read it. I'll double check in between now and the next time we play, and we can always tweak your stats if necessary.
Sure,
we'll
I'm a
double
Rainbow
check that
Lander,
later.
so I can move them
Yeah.
wherever I need to.
Yeah, you got some freedom there. Okay. So how do we do on skills? I heard Bert's. What else? Any other interesting gets?
I'm on the fence. Like if other folks are doing casting, I was kind of on the fence on that. If I don't do soul food, I rolled randomly get spelunking. This would be a big game hunter, spelunking, foraging, and hallucination. Sounds like a great cat.
Yeah.
Just wants to hunt things and eat them, and
That makes perfect sense. Anybody else got an array of stats or skills?
I've got mine done, I think. I got contortionist, narco herbalism, nomad raiding, and Vomtech.
Tech is cool.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So
That'll be useful.
is combat something separate than skills? Like, do you need
If
a
you
skills?
want to, yeah, you could do. Okay, so combat skills are a little tricky because on the one hand, you can do, if you want to pick something like range combat or guns or one-handed swords, you can totally write that down as a skill. The one thing is that when you so in the game, whenever there's like a perfect match between your skill and something you're trying to apply it to, it's almost like it's like a freebie. Like you kind of just get it, right? Or you either get it or you might get it at advantage. I can't remember exactly. The only exception to that is combat skills. So like if you were in the case of like taking, like I'm a two-handed axe specialist, and like you don't get like freebies every time you swing your axe. So like that's the only exception. But it's still good to have that, to have like if you want to do have a combat skill. Yeah.
Yeah, like if you're expecting to be a fighter, it wouldn't be a bad idea to
have
could it be a combat skill that's just more like specific, more of a niche thing? It's like I'm great against like this type of robot or something like that.
Yeah, if you want to say like robot killer, that's your skill.
Yeah,
put it down. You know what I mean? Like, totally do it. And there'll be times when like that'll come into play big time. Then there'll be other times where it's just like not as much. So like it'll help you against killing robots, but maybe not against killing dinosaurs. But dinosaur robots, yes.
Back on the
Wonderful.
I just want to say I enjoy hallucination, traveling your dreams, talk to spirits and chairs.
Yeah, I totally love that one too. I love the Big Game Hunter has some fun stuff with it too.
So you said we can kind of make up skills too, right?
Absolutely.
All right, I've got mine. I was thinking like I'm just going full caster, but no, I'm going thiefy caster.
Okay.
So I've got hallucination because chairs have important information.
Very much so.
My other skill is stealing.
Sure.
Gonna steal things. Soul juicing, I figured as a blue lantern ghost, I need the soul juice.
Plus, it's my favorite phrase in the whole game. So like you just bonus points with me.
Nice. And the other skill this is my magical kind of casting skill. I went with pocket magic. Imagine pocket sand as a magical spell.
Okay.
So like throw sand, you're blinded. Oh, throw glitter at you. Now you're never getting it off. Stuff like that.
Okay. There's always stuff in your pocket to throw.
Highly specific. I really like it. I like it. That's great. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? That's awesome. I
creating,
by the way, you'll get more skills as the game progresses, and you can make up new ones then too. So like we'll talk more about it as the game progresses and as you guys accrue XP and stuff like that, because XP or like skill development and like getting new abilities is more of like find it in the world and get some training type stuff. And so, once I get a feel for what your character likes and wants, I'll obviously be starting to put those, those trainers and stuff throughout the world so you guys can like study for a week or so with like a pocket sand expert to increase your pocket sand skills to expertise.
Yeah, that's it.
What if you had ball bearings in your pocket? You learned a new thing.
Well, you cast those spells at a higher level. So, low level is sand. And then maybe like at the level 4, it's ball bearings or, hand grenades or
just a pocket full of quarters. Just make it hail.
Or kryptonite or secretly in the body I've been gathering all of Jeremy's cat poo, and that's in his pockets, and that's one of my spells.
Oh God. And the other pocket is all of his thrall's poo. So you just got Never mind.
Do we want sticky or dry?
All right, if you're gonna do hallucination, I'm gonna try and switch it up some.
Okay. And if you guys over the next, because we might do a little bit of play before the end of the night, but like we're not going to do a ton of play. Like we're not going to be able to. We're not going to be like in the middle of the grasslands when we leave tonight because we only got 40 minutes left. We still have a Caravan
halfway to space.
So like you can always think about it. Like there's always time to change it. Like between this session and our next. Anybody else have any skills that they're particularly proud of?
I have a question on magic. Can your skill be like a school of magic where it's just kind of like a general? Okay.
Yeah. So if you want to do like pyromancy or necromancy or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to be a strengthnomancer, where they just random feats of strength. They flex their muscles and it gives them abilities, like being able to pick up things that they shouldn't be able to and that type of stuff.
You're a muscle mage. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Muscle
Mhm.
mage.
I cast fist.
And then
Who
Iron
am I to say
Gullet
no?
is going to be one of the skills.
Iron Gullet?
They're just,
Okay.
yeah, just able to eat things they shouldn't be able to.
You're like a circus
Um,
strongman.
Yeah, that's kind of the theme I'm going for. And then I'm still deciding the two others.
Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm leaning into the champion that I rolled. So
I like it. Okay.
So what I think I have right now, we'll see. I have an agility of 4, so I might end up keeping contortions, but I may switch that out for something else, not to
Yeah.
be duplicative.
Yeah, we talked about it, and I might switch contortions too because I have no agility. So
That would make sense. So I also have profiteering, puppet theater, and what I decided for my my spell, because it says you can basically do like illusions and light things. So I am calling my my magic spell rainbows and unicorns, because I can do things with light and I can make you see things that aren't there.
You say rainbows and unicorns? Is that what you said?
I did.
Okay.
Yep.
I think that fits like into like sort of the heavy metal psychedelic thing. Perfect. Okay. Anybody else? We like skill wise? I think we got a taste of a little bit of everybody. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Again, you're welcome to change before next time.
Jeremy, if you want to keep hallucination, I was on the fence about crystal healing because I want to
Well-
make fun of people with crystal healing. So
Because I was thinking I could easily swap out hallucination and I'll just take chemistry, which allows me to make
Okay.
drugs and explosives.
oh wow.
So I'll help you
Okay.
hallucinate.
Oh, that's perfect.
Now, the Violet City is also fairly renowned for its drugs, so that makes perfect sense there, Jeremy. It's a drug
All you
haven.
mages, man. All I want to do is sell coffee and cut.
I mean, we might be good friends then because I have the narco herbalism, which is for hiding inappropriate herbs and berries.
Jeremy should become a cat coffee like.
Ooh,
That's what he should.
I
do.
can use my surgery to turn somebody into a drug mule.
No, beautiful.
No.
Beautiful. And hide cat coffee. So cat coffee in this game is basically drugs made from cat feces. So
Like real
Amazing.
life.
It's like in real
there
life.
you go. Yeah.
Oh my.
I
I've got
didn't
the
even know
Iron
that. It's a
Gullet.
real life
I can
thing.
just
Oh my
down
God.
it.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Mm.
Sadly, it
That's
is.
terrifying.
It is a real life thing.
Oh God. I don't want to ask any follow-up questions. So next up, weapons and armors. We'll get into transports with mounts and wagons when we develop the caravan, but you get some weapons and armors. You all get 100 cash to spend. There's weapons and armors if you want to buy anything. So there's handouts for those in the journal. Again, don't feel like you have to get it perfect right now, but you have 100 cash to spend on your personal stuff, and you can kind of see under like the weapons tab like what you can do with things. The game has similar to kind of like Free League style in terms of its ranges, like the range increments as opposed to like a specific measurement of feet or anything like that. It's just kind of close, near, far, and distant. There's ranged weaponry, anything from like traditional things like bows and crossbows to more fancy like science fantasy flair, like blasters and things like that. And then there's also like simple melee weapons, and then there's weird melee weapons. But again, you start with 100 cash, and over the course of time, you might earn some more through your trading as we kind of move around and maybe even return to the Violet City at some point to purchase some things.
Now, do we get a random ability, or is that only if you're a non-human?
Oh, sorry, that's right.
Did I miss
Random
that?
ability. Thank you for reminding me of that. Yes. So the ability doesn't have to be random, but yeah, just do it random because it's fun. So if you're taking a spell, that's different. Just take your spell. You're good to go. But otherwise, you can roll on the random ability table and tell us what you get. So I think let's see.
Thoughtful as Thoth gains 1 thought and a maximum thought increased to 6.
Yeah, so you're
Oh, cool.
smarty
So I
pants.
get a stat up.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep. So that you can write that in. So write that in your ability. Dan, you're rolling privately.
Oh, I didn't mean to, but it's funny. Empty shell. Your hero has no solar call. All cursed spells fail, or all cursed spells always fail against them. Ka defense is permanently 7 and cannot be modified. Their resistance against all Ka damage, they can never be restored to life if killed.
Yeah, you're welcome to reroll that one if you want. Ka is basically is like aura, soul type stuff. The game has one defense stat, UVG, but CCAT kind of expands on that a little bit with like Ha, Ka, and Ba, and we're not really. I don't know. We might eventually transition. I might slowly start introducing more components of CCAT into this as I familiarize myself with it more. But if you want to reroll it, Dan, go for it.
Okay, let's see what else I get.
There's one in there I really want him to get. Oh,
what's that?
Okay. There's one in there I really want you to get, which basically allows the hero to reroll natural ones all the time.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing, but I'm not that lucky.
No, you're not, unfortunately.
Chosen Regenerator no longer make death tests. Every time the hero is reduced to 0 life, their body goes into hibernation as it reassembles itself.
And a rate of 1 life per day. That's beautiful. You have like something about your specific, because you're a satrap, so you got your suit and stuff, so maybe something about the suit kind of repairs itself, like there's an automated repair system. Perfect.
Dan does not die in the end.
Dan does not die in the end.
Yeah,
I just want to roll one more time.
Yeah,
because I am curious about one thing.
Okay.
I didn't get it. Okay.
Fluid anatomy. Heroes' insides rearrange and rebuild to keep them going despite dreadful trauma. A hero can spend 1 stat point to turn a critical hit into a normal hit. I'll let you choose if you want.
It's all right. No, I'll stick with the one I got. I was just like, what are the odds that I rolled the next time?
All right, so
they weren't.
Melissa, were you going to roll on the ability? Joe, were you?
No, because I've got spell stuff.
Okay, so you're going to pick a spell. Okay, the 4 of you are all going to pick some kind of spell. All right, that's fine.
I'll roll.
Oh, okay.
I think I'll go without spells. I'll just be a big game hunter cat.
Go for it, man. Okay. So that little plus basically means advantage. So you're a robber baron. You have advantage to all business-related rolls, including treasure rolls. If you want to re-roll it, go right ahead.
Okay.
I gave Dan 2 re-rolls. You can have 2 re-rolls if you like. So roll 3 and pick one.
Okay.
Avatar infection.
Secretes a cocoon.
Oh god. When the hero's body is killed or otherwise shut down, it secretes an ichor cocoon and reassembles at a rate of 1 life per day. Reassembly is complete when the hero is at full life. Each reassembly reduces endurance by 1. It's kind of similar to Dan's, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. You can do one more and then pick whichever one of the 3 you like the best.
Okay.
Okay. You just get to choose a beneficial mutation. So let me see if as opposed to rolling it randomly, let's see if I have beneficial mutations listed. I don't think I have that handout. What are the chances? Okay, so I can just I'll read out to you some options. All right. So you could be stronger, which just increases your strength, better, which increases your endurance, faster increases your agility, smarter increases your thought. You can do psionic evolution, which is a mental ability that develops or spell acquired as an innate ability that's usable once per day. So you can basically get a spell. Mm-hmm. Tougher, your life is increased, so your HP goes up. Resilient, you gain advantage basically against either poison or radiation or some other environmental effect. Mm-hmm. There is psionic augmentation. You can develop a supernatural aptitude with 1 type of skill and make all relevant rolls with advantage. Super soldier reflexes, you can gain advantage on initiative. Expert mimicry. You can flawlessly reproduce any action seen. You always gain advantage to a skill test to perform an action that you've already seen performed. So the example is after seeing someone climb a wall, like a tower, you can do it with advantage.
Oh,
cool.
Cosmic channeling. There's a whole bunch of these. I should just give you the list of these. There's like going to be 40 you can basically pick from.
Okay. Yeah. We don't have to necessarily do that right at the moment, but that sounds exciting.
Okay. There's some pretty, because I think the higher it goes, it gets crazy. Because you can do like precognitive mutation, plastic bone structure, sensory expansion, optic augmentation. Your eyes become sharper. a secret weapon. Your body carries natural weapons hidden within it, perhaps claws within fingers, blades within arms, or venomous fangs in the mouth. But you already kind of have that with your tail, so that might be more than you want. But yeah, I'll give you the list.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Anybody else doing an ability roll?
I just
All right.
took pocket magic.
Perfect. So, I think that's kind of good at this point. So, what we should probably do.
I guess what were we doing? What do we do for the spell?
So the spell you should look over. Like, there's some options for you. Like, if you want to look at the magic folder on Foundry. So there's like the little magic tutorial one that you want to read. Then there's the synopsis of spells that all come from UVG. Then there's the magic addendum that all come from CCAT. So thanks, Jen. Hooty hoo.
Thank
Oh,
you.
Okay. So let's see. We got about a half an hour till time. Okay. So I was gonna try to do this as like let's just do caravan creation straight up. I was gonna try to do it like in character a little bit, but let's not. Let's just kind of get to it. No, never mind. I'm lying. Let's do it the way I was originally planning it. So let's just do it. We got a half an hour left. We can do this. We can do this.
Yes.
We can do this.
All right. So we're gonna kind of do like kind of a play, like a little break to play, so that we can kind of introduce your characters now a little bit, what they look like, all that kind of stuff, and then we're gonna get to the caravan creation here in a moment. So here's what I want to do. Oh boy. All of you are gonna start in the Violet City. So the Violet City is kind of the westernmost city of civilization, basically, if you want to think about it in those terms. I'm going to bring you all over to the big map here. I'm going to move us down to this as well, so that other people can see this. So we are where that little nuclear sign is. That's us. Okay. There we go. So the orientation of this map is up is east, down is west, north is to the left, south is to the right. And so we're starting in the Violet City. And then you can see that kind of shaded area is kind of like ruins of civilization, the Circle C, all that kind of stuff is around which the various rainbow lands are built. But we're starting in the Violet City, which again, westernmost like point of civilization, and it's really like the last place that all of you will effectively be able to purchase things like with regularity. Like there's going to be other settlements that we might come across as we journey outwards into the grasslands, but it's going to get weirder and weirder the more west we go, and there's a long way west. As if you were to, for instance, just sort of start scrolling it down, you just realize just how long this place is and just how many different locations there are, as you have to keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling until the Black City, which is sort of like the end point on this little journey. Not necessarily where you all will end up, because you have different visions that have come to you for different reasons, as you all want to somehow ascend like the shamans of old and all that kind of stuff. But what I figure we can do, which is kind of fun, as a way to kind of introduce your characters and as a way to sort of build your caravan, is we're going to kind of one by one, we're going to do a little like popcorn initiative in a way of introducing characters. So here's what's going to happen. Whenever you come to a specific location, a destination, for instance, is what it's called, you get to, there's a lot of different things that you can do here. Like you can try to discover stuff, you can carouse, you can get drunk and try to get XP, you can eat, You can go to like restaurants. You can try to do some market research to figure out what's trading and selling well nearby. These are all things that we'll get into in greater depth like next time around. So for now, without getting into like the heavy mechanics, that not super heavy, but the heavier mechanics of it, we're just going to kind of sort of do this more play style. So everybody is going to effectively be arriving at the Violet City or have already been here. And I'm kind of curious like how your character arrives, in what manner. So Chuck, I think it's good that we start with you. You're the first one that comes up. Do you have a name for your character?
Yeah, Tango Carne.
Tango Carne. That sounds like something on a Taco Bell menu.
Yes,
it's a Tango Carne burrito.
Yeah, it's Tango Carne.
I love it. It's great.
It makes sense. I'm a blue ghost,
Mm-hmm.
and my name means I have meat, because I don't.
Okay. Also, there's a meat forest location like way the hell down there.
Oh my gosh.
We gotta go there.
What?
We gotta go there.
Making myself the best body there.
All right. I don't know why my dice window's all screwed up. All right. So, Chuck, tell me how. So Violet. Think about Violet City in these terms. It's a sort of like a metropolis. It's a big city. Rainbow landers moving all throughout. It's run, rumor has it, by these cats, these violet cats. There's all sorts of different places. There's an exile camp that's like kind of outside of the main city where a lot of blue landers have lived within a slum. There's the townships of the Violet City, which is like in the high walls. And then there's like the low road and the high road and down towards the Lime Nomads to the south or to the northwest. So I'm kind of curious, what is Tango Carne? Where is he? Is he for the past week? So we're going to cover this in terms of a week, because a week is a major component of time. So for the past week, at some point in time, Tango Carne arrived in the city, or he entered into the city. So what is he? What's like one of the first things he does when he gets here?
Oh, Tango Carne. He lost his grandmother's car, so he probably started out searching for that. But he also loves stealing. So it would have probably off looking for someone's car. I take over a body and a passenger in this car. I fall asleep too long. Wake up in the Violet City. I'm like, well, I can look for the car here, and I can also steal things. So maybe yeah.
Yeah, no, it sounds great.
Does that answer? Yeah.
So yeah, I would say you make your way into the townships, into the high walls, and you start casing out places. You start first looking at what kind of auto golems, auto wagons and stuff might be in town. There are some.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out exactly if your grandmother's vehicle happens to be here. What does your grandmother's vehicle look like? Do you know?
It's a big, giant, banana yellow old caddy.
Okay, banana yellow Cadillac. Now, I'll say that because the yellow lands are so close, there are auto wagons that have been painted yellow in some sort of prideful flag waving gesture.
Yeah.
But none that quite look like your grandmother's, unfortunately. But you spend a significant amount of time throughout the week looking and casing various vehicles and, just trying to steal and get by. Roll, if you could, please, a charisma test. There's no shortcut here. So basically what you're doing is you're rolling a d20.
Okay.
And then you're adding your charisma.
Okay.
And that's it. So just so it'd be like, what's your charisma?
0.
Okay, so just roll a d20 and tell me what you get.
Yep. Got me a 10. It rolled as the Caravan. But yeah, got me a 10.
Okay. So it's been a fairly sort of a fairly boring and mundane arrival for you. Like nothing of note. Like you've managed to get, pick a few pockets here and there, but no one really has more than just a handful of change or a handful of coins here and there, some cash. Nothing that would really break the bank pretty much just enough for you to not have to spend all your time out in the exile camp in the Blue Lander slums. Like you've managed to scrounge together enough to be able to do that. But you're unable to really find anything of great fortune, but also no great misfortune has fallen. It's been a fairly kind of middling way. However, go ahead.
I was going to ask a question. Seeing as I am a ghost, can I have like a starter body that I borrowed for a little bit? Maybe I'm sneaking around in a starter body.
Yeah, what does the starter body look like?
Starter body is, oh man, he was going to be probably someone I found in the slums. So think like, I don't know, Jesse Pinkman at the start of El Camino, just battered, beaten, grungy as all get out. Just some tweaker I found at a bar, just like, don't mind if I do.
Okay. At some point in time when you're in the city, you know, like you're all here again. Don't forget your ultimate travel quest. Like all of you at some point are going to be like moving westward. So somehow your grandmother's car is likely going to get caught up in this like shamanistic vision quest.
Oh yeah.
But at some point, so we're gonna do popcorn initiative, and so at some point you meet somebody in the city. It's one of these other schmucks that are on the screen. Who do you meet?
I'm gonna go with Jeremy because I think Jeremy's probably ready to go.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
So Jeremy, where does Tango Carne run into you? You don't have to be too specific. If you want to just give me a generic concept, then we can flesh it out after that. Where would he have met you?
Well, I've just come back after a big hunt. So I'm selling off pieces of whatever wild creature that we found and, you know, taking anybody who wants to like bid to basically let me make some special concoction out of this thing's dung. Do you want explosives? I can give you explosives. Do you want drugs? I can give you drugs. Or else my name's not MSG, Mercutio Salvador Giovanni. Come to me for all your needs. We're best friends. Tango! Tango!
Hey! My favorite pusher.
Oh, of course. I've got the good shit for you. Seriously, it's very fresh. It's sticking to the floor.
Really feel like I need to be way more of a stoner to play this off. Like, man, like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. This meat suit's got a tolerance though, so yeah.
So we'll say that maybe somewhere within the city there's I'm sure there's marketplaces and haggling and whatnot. You could either be consorting with known sort of drug lenders in the city, or it could be more on the up and up, like selling meats. Or what do you think you'd be doing, MSG?
I think it's fairly on the up and up. I mean, he is a cat lord. This is okay. I do it by the book. I mean, I hunted it, I procured it. It's from the ground. You know, it's all natural. It's good for everybody.
Okay, roll.
I take pride in my work.
Yeah, roll charisma.
I will. That's going to be a D20 plus 2.
Mm-hmm.
Where's my D20? There you are. So 8.
Okay. It's your hunt was okay that you just recently come back from. Mm-hmm. You managed to track down what you were hoping was likely going to be maybe a herd of this particular kind of burden beast that sort of tracks around like the ruins of Azure or something like that, but you were only able to find like a scattered one or two, so you haven't really returned like as the hero, and you haven't really been able to really profit too heavily off of it.
I'm gonna blame that on my my servant, or my pet is basically just this giant Adonis of a man. I just call him Man Meat.
Man Meat, okay. MSG, Man Meat, and Tango Carne. Okay. So, at a certain point, as you are selling the drugs maybe, or some other reason, you bump into somebody else. Because this is just sort of the slow montage as all of the crew kind of comes together over the course of a week or two in Violet City in justifying why we're all suddenly adventuring together. Who is it you would say you might bump into or run across?
I got a feeling that where there's drugs is probably coffee. So I think we bring in Bert.
So, and that makes sense because you're within a marketplace and you're a merchant caravaner. And
yeah.
So, Bert, who is your character and what are we looking at? And what are they doing at this marketplace?
Sure. His name is Khalil Abu.
Okay.
ABU. And he comes into the city wearing spiked leathers. And he's got one of those long beaked masks. I forget what they're called. You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
The plague doctor mask.
Plague doctor masks, right? Exactly. Carrying his sack of coffee beans over one shoulder. He's paid whatever's necessary to have a stall put up in the middle of the bazaar, and he's acting as barista, as well as having a surgery seat right next to his table.
The doctor is in.
Yes.
Roll a charisma test. Let's see how the last couple days have gone for you. Just roll a d20 and add your charisma. That's it.
Add my charisma. Okay.
Yep,
I have
pretty
some
simple.
of that.
Nice.
All right. Let's see. D20.
Higher the better for this kind of stuff.
No, not good at all.
What'd you roll?
A 3.
Oh dear. Oh dear. So, you.
Oh, you wanted your left ear removed. Oh, much apologies. Have your right ear back.
So
Your
as
left,
you're
not my left. Oh.
as you so I'll say MSG as you're kind of speaking with Khalil, you notice Khalil, you're kind of limping about a bit. You've been lending your surgical aid to everybody else, but when you look down at your leather shoes or what they might be, you've noticed over the course of the past 2 or 3 days you've developed something of a limp, and your medical background makes you a little worried that perhaps something might be wrong with one of your feet.
It's the beaties.
So you start to so maybe you unwrap your whatever shoes you're wearing, boots, something like that, travel sandals, and you notice that the sole of your right foot has been terribly infected, and that you haven't really noticed it. Maybe it's because you've been just busy. You've had too many sacks on your back as you've been wandering throughout the city and setting up the merchant stall. But you actually have a -1 to agility, so you lose 1 agility.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Don't worry. There will be ways to get it back. Don't worry. But you get -1 to agility. Told you higher is better on this test. So as you're waiting here in the marketplace, would we say that your fellow Yellowlander is nearby as well, Bert? Would that make sense?
I don't know. We might have got sick of each other during the travels, but I'm sure he's around somewhere. Got my sign turned to say the doctor is out. I'm soaking my foot in coffee, eyeing my knife, deciding if the whole foot needs to be removed or just parts of it.
You'll sell that coffee later as your special blend.
Exactly.
So go ahead, Chuck.
Hey, man, you want me to look at that?
So what am I looking at? What do you look like?
This is
You're
like
a ghost, aren't you? I see you.
Yeah, like I'm a blue cloud coming out of the left nostril of this really ratty looking dude.
Just blowing your snot bubble?
I'm going snot bubble. Like I want people to recognize that it's Tango in here.
It seems that not only my business ventures are cursed, but my ancestors have come back to haunt me.
Yeah, but I could totally look at that for you, man.
Pull my foot out of the coffee bath.
Yeah, that looks really bad, man. Glad I could help.
Yes. I
So,
I offer a handkerchief to whoever's snot you've become.
Body real jerkily reaches up and takes it and just holds it there.
So shopping
Right,
for
it's right
coffee.
here. It's right here. Right. Yeah.
This is gonna be a thing, isn't it? So shopping for coffee at this stall or near enough to it. Who do you want to say? Dan, you want to go next?
Oh no! Let's have Joe go. If it's
Okay,
possible.
Joe. I
I'm
wasn't
sorry.
sure if you wanted
Yeah.
Joe in or not. So Joe.
Yeah, I want to know how close Joe is.
Sure. So I picture my character as kind of a strongman type. So the type of stuff he'd be selling is like bulking and health products and stuff for his physique. And that's
Like
what he'd be
tonics
like
and
trying to
things?
market to other people.
Protein
You're
shake.
selling steroids and here.
Yeah,
Solution.
that type of stuff to try and achieve his body type, but also I don't imagine he's too successful at it because one of his skills is the iron gullet, so he's able to kind of stomach things that most people might not be able to. So not quite as popular with other people other than himself. Physically, I picture him having like this almost triangle shaped body where he's all like upper arm strength. It's like smaller legs. He's got mostly a shaven head, except he's got this mohawk that just kind of spirals up into like this circle above his head that's dyed like yellowish orange. And then I picture him wearing like a little poncho that doesn't hide his muscles, but it's just enough to keep the sun off his shoulders.
Okay.
And then you can see he's got like some arcane tattoos and things that highlight his muscle tone.
Oh,
And
nice.
he'd wear like tight pants and some wrapped sandals.
Wow.
That's kind of how I picture him. And his name is Ensen.
Jeremy, who is the character's name in Doom Patrol? That was like the older hero who like kind of came back and he was like the muscle man. You know what I'm talking about? It's the first thing that came to my mind.
Oh, what was his name?
You know, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly who I'm picturing now for Joe's character. Joe, roll a charisma test. So D20 and
Okay.
add your charisma.
D20 admin
Again.
charisma.
Higher's better. You have an opportunity to do just fabulous things here.
All right. Let's see if it. Oh.
That's it.
Oop.
Wow.
I don't know which one to just roll.
So you had a weird morning. So you're a little off right now. You see your friend or fellow Safran, or however you want to define your relationship, of Khalil, who is now soaking his foot, and you see he's been on some hard times. He's speaking with someone who has a very large snot bubble that's coming out of their nose and what looks like one of those peculiar cat lords. And you probably have a little bit of maybe a slight reaction at seeing MSG, because when you woke up this morning, you were very sore, more so than normal, because you lift a lot. But the soreness, you're comfortable with a certain level. But you did feel fairly well fed. Like you felt like you had a good night's food, but you're just very, very sore. In your pocket, you also found a fresh and crisp $5 bill and a letter of gratitude from a cat lord for services rendered. And when you looked at the calendar, you realized the last 4 days are just a complete blank slate. You have no idea where you've been for 4 days. So Khalil, when you see him show up, you haven't seen him for 4 days. He's been missing for 4 days. The two of you arrived in the city at the same day. You set up your stalls, you got your location, and then you went missing for 4 days. And you woke up this morning with a letter of gratitude from a cat lord, $5, and 4 days missing from your memory. Yeah.
Okay. Is this cat lord someone I'm familiar with?
So, it could be. It could be somebody. Maybe you. I don't know. Where do you think you would you have come when you first arrived? Other than doing your business, would you think you would have done? Would you have gone carousing? Would you have gone just exploring like a tourist? Would you have gone looking for drugs. What would you have done when you got here?
I probably would have tried to integrate myself in the market, trying to make ends meet, and also source some materials for my product out in the desert. I picture him like always looking for like lizards or just weird plants that he can find, to put together his health products.
Okay.
And most of them are probably toxic to most people, but he doesn't really care about that.
Okay. So I mean, more than likely, you probably met up at some point with somebody who was probably selling whiskers or ticklers, which you know to be kind of a type of drug that's used to expand the mind, and has some physical issues, but also, lets you levitate at times. So maybe you in the process of doing so, you met a cat lord. At that point, you encountered one, not the one that you're currently staring at, because they do look differently. But there was somebody else who was there as well, and it was, and you remember that it was probably one of those satraps people. So was it Melissa or was it Dan?
Let's go with Dan.
Oh no. I think I've decided that that my character's name is going to be Satrap 418 Teapot.
Okay, Satrap 418 Teapot. Okay.
Which is based on it's a joke HTTP code that says, I'm a teapot. Server refuses to attempt to brew coffee with a teapot.
Okay. So you met with Joe's character at some point earlier in the week. You remember there was a cat lord there. You were probably busy because there's something else that you were looking to do that day. What was it you would have been looking to do that day within the Violet City? Like, what's like an errand you might have been running, or plans that you had made that you'd wanted to do, in the city itself?
I mean, I imagine I'm always kind of like looking for, I don't know what a vile intruder from the void would be exactly, but I'm sure that, trying to get information on that's always something to do. Maybe there's other colored cubes out there that I'm looking for too. I don't know what the gray cube does, but maybe there's other cubes too. Maybe I need to catch them all.
Okay. Roll a d12.
D12. Oh no. I somehow get a smaller die.
You're gonna do the other one too in a second.
Oh, okay. 2.
Okay. So so two things. You vaguely remember that the name of the cat was someone by the name of Lee the Fluffy. And that's exactly who you were talking with when you met with Joe's character. And Joe, what was your character's name again? I'm so sorry.
Ensen. E-N-S-E-N.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. And in addition to Lee and the reason you remember is because Lee the Fluffy gave you a lead of sorts of some kind of like violent individual. There's some sort of silent stranger that has been seen in town, has been looking for work in town, robes of like this old kind of classical barbarism. Like they're surprisingly refined, but they're known to have like inquisitor training. And so it's when you spoke with Lee the Fluffy, when you spoke with Ensen, is you got this small lead for someone that was kind of inquisitor training, wandering around town. Can you go ahead and now roll that charisma test for me?
All right, here it is, guys. The first worst roll of the night.
Higher is better.
Oh, well, 12 is okay.
Okay. You probably spent the rest of the week, I would imagine, trying to seek out that particular individual and have not, as of yet, been able to discover their whereabouts. But it's a fairly large city, and there are many people here, so it's possible they could be somewhere else within the neighborhoods.
All right.
But you did discover another satrap that you managed to befriend, and who might that be? And how did you come across them? What were you doing when you came across Melissa's character?
Boy, I imagine I was probably looking for another cube. I think that's gonna be like my secret agenda is finding cubes for some reason.
Okay.
But I'd also like to imagine that like my character's suit looks like sun bleached, like it's faded a lot, and since I'm supposed to be desiccated, maybe it's like kind of loose fitting and saggy looking.
Works.
So maybe the two of you run into each other at some kind of like metal forge of some kind. You're like kind of going through the scraps from this place, looking for cubes of some kind, or hitting the, like smitheries or something like that around town. What does your character look like, Melissa?
So my character, the suit is a bright orange. So that's what you see with the bright orange. And in this metalworks area, if you're looking very carefully, you might notice the little monkey lizard is like stealing little bits of scrap metal.
Okay. Roll that charisma test. Oh, it's private. She could say anything she wants now.
Oh no, it was a crit, I swear. It really was.
That's what they all say.
Are we playing a board game?
I'll re-roll
I deal with this all the time,
It
guys.
really
This
was,
is the-
I swear. It's
So
gonna
this
be
is
like
how
the
the board
only
games go.
crit. Like it's gonna be the only nat 20 I'm gonna roll like the entire time, and it was private.
You got your phone on you, right? Take a screenshot of it. Just take a screenshot of it. It's fine.
I rolled it public. It's 14.
No, you definitely want the crit. So
You want the
give it to
crit.
you, just take
I
the
mean-
crit. Yeah. So, what does your monkey lizard have a name?
Phil, PHYL.
PHYL. Okay. So, while Phil was wandering throughout this kind of scrapyard, it actually came across what looked like some kind of hidden cache, somewhere where somebody might have kind of quickly stashed away some black market goods while being chased down by various guards of the city. And you found 5 stone worth of cat coffee it's worth about 1,000 cash.
Ooh.
And perhaps
Wow.
that's why you and your other satrap friend have wandered over to the marketplace today, is to try to kind of gauge the selling price of cat coffee as you all are kind of lingering about in this area. And so while everyone's kind of here in this little marketplace, you hear this voice just kind of cut through all of the kind of the rambling of different merchants who are trying to sell you these types of beads, or they're trying to sell you fizz whiz, or they're trying to sell you different types of drugs or different types of food, giving you coupons to some of the seafood and steak locations throughout the city. But you hear that there is a caravan that's being formed to head out into the wastes by a particular individual. And so the last thing we're going to do before we cut tonight is we're just going to quickly sketch out your financier. So this is going to be like the last little bit that we do, and then we'll start up here next time. So you all can't afford a caravan on your own. So you're all are eventually going to come under the employ of a particular person, a financier, and we're gonna build them really quickly right now. Who would like to roll a d20?
You should let me do it.
I will randomly pick. It will be
Okay, that's
no.
fair.
She cheats. Joe, roll a d20.
No pressure,
I want to
Joe.
actually see the roll this time. This is an important roll.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a fantastic roll. Now, who would like to multiply that by 500?
Not me.
Me, 8,000.
It's how much?
Would
So
that
it's
be
16
8,000
times
or
5.
800?
Okay, so your total.
Or
Okay, you're gonna get a
1,300.
loan of 8,000 cash from your financier. We'll actually build the specific caravan, like the actual stats of it. We'll do that on the Discord or something like that. So you're gonna get a loan of 8,000 cash to be able to like kind of flex out your caravan. And so, but you have a particular patron, and it's supposed to be like the crazier, the zanier, the better. So, who would like to see who's next? Let's see who's gonna roll next. Chuck, can you roll? Can you roll? Hang on 1 second. Let me pull it up. So we're gonna get a starting place for this. Roll a D100.
Yup. 7.
Okay. So, our your financier is going to be a banker by the name of Jeremy. 1 or 2?
2.
By the name, of course, you'd pick that one. Okay, Circolingolo. Oh my God, I'll write it out later. Circolingolo. There we go. Okay.
Circolingolo.
All right. So then I just want to get a couple questions. So the patron's goals. So this is kind of fleshed out. The patron's goals. I want all of you are going to answer one question for me. So we're going to start then with Bert. So your patron is organized. This patron who's eventually developing a caravan has a goal of some kind for their caravan. Like they're sending it out into the waste. They want to do something with it. They're a banker. We know that they're a banker. What's the patron's like kind of larger goal, Bert, for organizing this caravan? What do you think?
He's actually unknown to us, transporting something very valuable, and he actually needs a caravan as a front for it.
Okay, I love it. That's fantastic.
We may or may not be the distraction caravan, and there might be another caravan involved.
That's really good. Okay, and we'll figure out what that is and where that might be later. Okay, so then let's see who's next. Jeremy, what's an organization? And you don't have to get if you want to throw out a specific name or if you want to just give me a generic idea. What's an organization that this patron belongs to?
So I'd like to think it's like some sort of weird technology. Because we're being used as the front.
Mm-hmm. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we know that they're in their everyday life, they're like a banker or accountant type, but that doesn't necessarily mean they couldn't be part of some other organization, religious organization, social organization, political organization, or it could be related to their job. So what do you think?
No, you know what? The accountant is their day job thing, but they're Satanist. They're
some kind of demonic cultist type.
Some sort of demonic cult. Yeah.
All right. Beautiful.
I think you're just describing bankers.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of redundant. So yeah.
I'm sorry.
All right. So demonic cult is the organization. Chuck. So there's going to be some kind of hidden cult that this banker is associated. I'll leaf through the books to see if there's anything that might fit that's already kind of mentioned, or I'll create it. But like, what's an organization that you think might be opposed to this group?
Opposed to this techno banker Satanist group would be the communists.
Okay. So Redlanders. Okay. So it's interesting. There's dwarves in this game, but the dwarves are like an acronym. It's basically like Die Werkers, like I can't remember all of it.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like that kind of thing. So it could be something like that mainly.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then who hasn't answered one yet? Dan. What's a personal weakness that Circolangolo has? What's a personal weakness?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm trying to remember Who's he gonna be? Which is he in the shadowy cultist organization or?
This is some sort of techno banker demonic cult that we have yet to name. We will at some point.
I mean, I assume he likes to take money from people. Probably likes to give them money and then take it away.
Okay, likes to like fraudulently charitable or something like that.
Yeah, fraudulently charitable.
Okay.
Gotta like to see the the joy of success and then have it taken away.
Okay. So then, all right.
Banking it in your favor never happens.
So Melissa, what's something odd about the patron? Like behavior, what they look like, something like that. What's something odd?
I don't know. I'm awful with these things. There's so many choices.
Yep. Something
open to
odd.
ideas.
Something strange. Melissa should
Like what came to mind, and I don't know if this is worth it, but like very much about like looking like appearance, looking rich and all of that kind of stuff. So maybe they like purposely like switch into like different languages as they're talking, or like something that like makes them appear
They're a
more
pompous polyglot.
worldly than they really are. And so then you constantly have to be like, I don't speak that language. What does that mean?
Okay. All right. Got it. And then finally, Joe. Okay. What's a strange rumor, story, or obsession that you have either heard about or the patron themselves confided in you personally? Something about the lands to the west. Something about where you're going.
Something about the lands to the west.
So some sort of strange rumor or story or obsession that they have about the western lands.
One of their branch office banks isn't communicating with them anymore, and he thinks that something weird happened to it.
Okay. All right, we'll figure that one out. All right, so I think we'll go ahead. I have enough. I can build that out. What we'll do is we'll start off next session having our meeting with that financier. We'll do the mechanical building of your caravan on Discord, because there's a couple things to buy and purchase, like whether you're getting mules or whether you're getting like skeleton helpers or zombie helpers. There's lots of weird stuff that you could potentially do with this, or if you're going to actually have a wagon or golem or cart, that kind of stuff, hirelings and whatnot. And then we'll start the journey next time is what we'll do. And people can finalize over the next couple of weeks what their final choices are for skills and abilities and all that kind of thing. So we got a little bit going. Got to figure out a few more things, but for the most part, I think we've got enough that we can kind of start for real with a proper session 1 next time. So let's go ahead and just do a last little round table really quick then. So see what everyone's got going on this week. Chuck, you want to hit the Defender stuff?
Yeah, Wednesday we're going to be doing session 2 of our Fallen Kingdom of Ruse campaign. That's Pathfinder 2nd edition. You can catch Jeff and Bert and Dan and Jeremy over there. Then Friday, Joe will be running his. Oh no, I'm running this Friday. We're going to be kicking off our second Pathfinder 2 campaign, The Saviors of Ruse, and you can check Joe and Dan over there. And then Saturday over on Goodman Games Official, we're going to be starting off the Crypt of the Devil Lich. They just did that on Kickstarter, classic adventure. And we're going to have special guest player Jordan, the PH is Silent, is going to be joining us over there.
Awesome. Jeremy, you want to talk about the Kickstarter going on right now?
Yeah, there's a Kickstarter for a fancy little independent comic called Black Blizzard, Occult, Noir. Why not? Check it out.
Bert, Steam Still Murder.
Yeah, it's, tomorrow night I've got some first edition Dungeons and Dragons going on. Friday is BX Dungeons and Dragons. This Sunday is either going to be GURPS Traveler or Gamma World Second Edition.
Awesome. For Melissa and I here on our channel, we'll be back on Friday with a one-shot of something. We're off from Delta Green this week, but I think we're going to play something else. Stay tuned. Follow me on Twitter. We'll announce it at some point once I know. Or hit the Discord, and you can see all these people, or not see them. You can chat with them. And Saturday, we'll do Worlds Without Number. Next Monday, we'll be doing Alien, as we alternate Mondays between UVG and Alien. And I'll also be on Garblag Games tomorrow night, as we're going and doing Call of Cthulhu. I think we're back finally to Call of Cthulhu. At long last, we finally get to New York. So that's it. We're going to go ahead and put it on the end screen. I'll throw a raid at someone that's got something going on right now. Thank you for those of you who hung out and watched us stumble through character creation, world creation, all that kind of stuff. Next time we play, we will play we'll play the game proper. We will literally go out into the wasteland, and I will probably kill the very characters that we just created tonight, like right off the bat, and have to do it all again.
See, that's the thing. See, we were the distraction caravan. You kill us all off, and you say, "Now, really, here's the other
real
caravan."
Mm-hmm. That's brilliant, Bert.
That's how you'll go with it, right?
We have backup characters right off the bat. Makes it nice and
That's
easy.
it.
So, good night, everybody. It won't catch you next time.